Over 10 years later, Crashlands has finally come out with a sequel. So, is Crashlands 2 worth playing, or was this just a mistake? Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Mabi here, and today we're going to be talking and reviewing Crashlands 2. I'm going to be letting you know if the game is good, is it bad, is it worth playing, and who I ultimately recommend this game to. So, Crashland 2 releases on April 10th, and it will be available on Steam PC and iOS and Android devices. This is a full 1.0 release, not early access. All the footage you're seeing today is taken straight from my Let's Play that you can watch right now, link in the description. Also follow me on Twitch to be part of future game reviews that I do here on the channel. Okay, so to give you more context on the game, Crashlands 1 originally released in January of 2016, so yes, basically a decade ago. I have a personal connection to this franchise. I did a Let's Play very early on in my YouTube career, and I did a review of that game, and hopefully I'm interlacing some footage here from the first game. Crashlands 2 is basically everything Crashlands 1 is, but better. They didn't go out of their way to revamp the gameplay loop. It's what we really liked about the first game, just ramped up. Now, this is a sandbox open world action game. There's crafting elements, base building, and of course, farming. So the story and settings of Crashlands 2 is basically going to be a direct sequel from the first one. In Crashlands 1, you get stranded, crash landed on a planet, and then you end up saving it to make a long story pretty short. In the second one here, you have quit your old job and have decided to revisit the planet again to see your old friends. However, you end up crashing again. In search of your old buddies, you find out that the planet is again under threat, this time the Withering, which might be caused directly by your former employer. This game is very lighthearted with lots of back and forth dialogue between characters. You play as Flux. She previously was a delivery person, and then you're traveling also with your floating robot buddy Juicebox. There's an overarching story of trying to rid the world of the Wither, but there's a lot of other side quests to do, NPCs to encounter, and secrets to find from exploring. There's quite a lot to do in this game. So the gameplay loop can be summarized like this. When you start the game, the whole overworld map is procedurally generated. However, story quests and biomes are still in the general area for each world creation. After a lengthy tutorial, you'll get used to the fighting, the gathering, the crafting, the building, the exploration, and how to complete missions. You'll be introduced to a basic plot of land that you can customize. You can mess with the size of your buildings, the type of buildings, the different designs, the decorations. But you also have very useful things here, like workbenches, farm plots, and even NPCs that you're going to be recruiting later. They hang out and they do a lot of things for you. The NPCs unlock recipes, and you can tailor fit their rooms to fit their needs. You also learn a little bit more about their personality and backstories the longer the game goes on. So, you build, gather, fight, explore, you talk to every NPCs to give you quests to complete, and the kind of quests you're going to see are usually go here, fight this, gather this, build this, etc. You then explore out even further with more danger and higher power levels, new enemies, etc. You then once again build, gather, explore, and even, you pretty much do the same thing over and over again. And that's pretty much the game loop if I were to put that in very, very simple terms here. Your character does get stronger via equipment and internal suit upgrades. You can find different weapons, consumables, and crafting armors. You got daggers, hammers. They all have their stats, like different damages, buffs to other relevant stats, like some can increase your perma HP. And then you have equipment sets. If you get like different sort of rogue sets, you get stronger with every hit, with the cooldown, etc. There's also the use of gadgets in this game that you can find and get through the story. These are basically skills with cooldowns that you can freely equip and unequip. You have like 5 loadouts that you can keep switching in between for different situations that you want. They do things like stunning an enemies, they throw out flame orbs, you can go invisible. and lots of other things. You also have the internal suit upgrades. These ones are not interchangeable. You find in the world things called juice gems, these gigantic yellow gems, and pretty much their game is rewarding you for doing a lot of exploring because that's where you're going to be finding them. You can use them to permanently improve stats like run speed, attack power, and health regen in a very basic sort of skill tree. Okay, let's talk about the pros before we go into the cons. Now, first of all, this is an improvement in every way over in the first game, in my opinion. The graphics are much smoother, they're more fleshed out, the vibrancy of the colors and the environments are nice to look at. Now, before today, I really haven't looked at my old Let's Play, and I'm hopefully showing you more footage today. It looks vastly different, but in my mind, I'm like, wow, this is what Crashland used to look like, but no, it's a huge upgrade. The combat here is pretty smooth for a crafting base building game. You have access to a lot of tools that string together really well. Dodging, basic attacks, gadgets. They're all meant to be used interchangeably, and finding things really doesn't feel like a chore. You're always getting new materials from them that you're gonna need. All the enemies, just like the first game, they continue to be very dangerous, which is a nice thing. You don't want there to be zero stakes at all. When you actually do get knocked out, you end up dropping your bag of loot, which is like, oh, you dropped like 500 or 1,000 pieces of materials. You don't really want to lose those, so you want to go back and get your stuff. But basically, they're really strong, but their attacks are telegraphed, which is nice. You can even color code the different sorts of things you can see on the ground, like the AoEs that you do, or the attacks that the enemies do, for either colorblind people, or if you just prefer not to have the orange default, but I prefer to have a red default. That makes it even more standing out for me to dodge enemy attacks. Alright, also, another good thing is if you're into base building, this one doesn't disappoint. There's a lot of loot to obtain and they all work together, but because this is not like a 2D game like Terraria, we can build gigantic, huge 2-3 story stuff, you're basically stuck with a 1-story building for the most part. There's a lot of consumables, decorations, platforms, equipment, and way more. It's a very chill game when you want it to be, and you can do the story at your own pace, so you can get as strong as you want before having to move on. It's pretty freeform that way. You are also having a sense of progression almost at every step in the game, either through the story, the exploration, or power levels. Almost everything you do will benefit the overall experience and just make you that much stronger. Now, let's move on to the cons of Crashlands 2. What's bad about it? It's pretty much weaknesses. Okay, so I'm going to be honest here. I really like the first one, and I am pleasantly surprised with the sequel here. There isn't really anything I disliked about the game because I'm going in with these expectations. I expect the combat to work this way. I expect, everything to just work in tandem the way it does. So I'm pretty much happy with the overall experience. However, I will mention points that I think some people might find off-putting and, might make or break their experience and whether or not they want to play this game or not. First of all, yes, the game is funny and witty. However, there's a lot of dialogue to push through, and there's no voiceovers in this game. So either you're going to be doing a lot of reading, and the reading is, you get some story here and there, but a lot of it is jokes, a lot of like running around, extra things that you don't really need. So it's a lot of fluff, in my opinion. You can skip, read as much as you want, and then you can kind of rely on the quest log after pressing start and looking at that to figure out what to do next. Luckily, at least the in-game map has points usually so you know where to go next. Okay, also I think the game loop here is not for everybody. It's very close to a Terraria-like in pretty much in terms of what you're doing, just with a little bit more story. You're building a base with NPCs, you are exploring, you're fighting enemies, you're getting stronger, which, with drops and crafting. So if you don't like Terraria, you probably won't like Crashlands 2. The camera is also fixed. And while this isn't typically an issue, you might run into pathways that are hidden via the perspective and not necessarily by design of the game. Also, when base building, placing things behind walls is kind of annoying, as there's no way to completely remove things that are always present. And this issue is very obvious in the first plot of land that they point you towards at the beginning of the game. Okay, so moving over to my final thoughts. All right, Crashland 1 was great. When I played it years ago, such a great game. Crashlands 2 is almost a pretty perfect sequel. It doesn't change the formula, but rather improves on it in almost every way. If you've played the first and liked it, then this one is a no-brainer pickup. There's nothing in here that they introduce or take away that you're like, oh man, this doesn't make the game for me. It's completely fine. If you're into Terraria-like games and don't mind the game loop of explore, craft, build, repeat, then I would say also give this one a go. It's the overall package that pretty much impressed me. It controls smoothly, the combat is great, the base building has been improved with upgrades and NPC preferences. It gives you more goals to work towards. I like the game a lot. It's a very high recommendation. Alright, so if you're interested in seeing my complete Let's Play, head on over to my other YouTube channel, MabiVsGames 2, and follow me on Twitch for live streams as we play more games to review here on the channel. Links are in the description. Let me know down in the comments, what do you think about the Crashlands series? Is this the first time you're hearing of it, or you played the first one and you might think about picking this one up? Or are you gonna straight pass on it? Thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Huh. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Wait, that had nothing to do with our quest though, huh? It was just something we found. Cool. We'll try it out in a second. We're not being attacked like crazy. Sweet victory. I'm just gonna think about that. Whoa! Now we can increase our run speed. Juice gem. Man, this quest is bugged. Run speed 4%. Stupid quest. Oh man, come on. There's archives. It's funny. Archives. A lot of quests. Alright, is this the quest? Okay, not even close. Alright, what's the new weapon? Let's see here. Ah, okay. So, crushing damage 64. Piercing damage 18. Okay, so it's crazy strong. Cast time is double the cast time though. I get HP boost. I become an arbiter. And once I get this, I get strength plus 10% because I get the arbiter bonus. So arbiter is pretty nice. I get strength, void resistance, resolve. Drawing power from the void dimension. Landing hits grants a stack of resolve. And it stacks my strength. This is just insanely strong. What the hell? A little slow. But that's very strong. Give this a try, you know what I'm saying? So, if it's too slow,